Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. My name is Charlotte. I'm a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures. And very often they are celebrities. But in this case, they are mega superstars. They are tall, they are blonde, they are rich, like filthy rich, very ridiculously wealthy people. So you know the drama is high and the tea is scorching hot. Of course, I'm talking about the singer and songwriter of our generation, Taylor Swift, and her best friend, actress and wife of Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. So I have covered the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively drama. I've done Justin Baldoni's astrological chart. I've done Blake Lively's chart. I've done her husband Ryan Reynolds' chart. I've done the Synastries, which are in my YouTube members. You can go check those out if you're interested. But today, this will be the 6th episode installment of the This Ends With Us film drama. Because Taylor Swift has been dragged into this, and I can imagine because she does not play when it comes to money and her reputation. This is her branding. This is potentially very damaging for her. And how she was reeled into this was via Blake, but basically Justin filed a lawsuit against Blake, and he released some text messages that were sent to him by Blake, where Blake compares herself to a character in Game of Thrones. She compares herself to Khaleesi, and Ryan and Taylor are her two dragons. She compared her husband and her best friend to sidekicks, to pets that will do her dirty work for her. And based on what I read in that message, she was basically saying to Justin, hey Justin, if you're really nice to me and you cooperate, then potentially you can benefit from my friendships with these people. And I think at the end she even wrote, I promise you. I'm paraphrasing everything, but yeah, she's using her friendship with Taylor and obviously her marriage with Ryan Reynolds as leverage, as a way to manipulate people, or to potentially. That's what's implied here. So yeah, I can imagine that Taylor is not happy with this. She's just finished the Eras tour and she wants to just take a holiday, and now she's got to deal with this stress. So I wanted to have a look at their friendship. They've been friends for a very long time, since the early 2010s, when they're in their early 20s, and they do have like a sister vibe. Like, they look quite similar. They have very similar backgrounds. I do think Taylor is probably the more artistic and emotionally intelligent of the two, but they seem quite close. And Taylor is a really good friend. Like, she has been known for ghosting people when they do her wrong or she feels betrayed. I wouldn't be surprised if she does this with Blake, and I'm wondering if she will after this, because this is a betrayal. Even if Blake didn't mean it, this is a betrayal. So anyway, I want to have a look at the chart and figure out what's going on. Before I dive in though, I want you guys to know February, that's it. I've got bookings, I've got booking windows open for February. If you would like to sit with me on a 60-minute Zoom call and you want me to tear your chart up, or you want me to have a look at your Synastry with your partner, with your friend, with your sister, whatever, you can do that in February. There are spots available, but they fill up quickly. Like, every day I get a notification on my phone that someone has taken a spot, so do it now. If you don't want to do that, I do have 15-minute readings, full chart readings, transit readings, Synastry readings, and then I've got 5-minute focus readings, which are from maybe a specific area of your life or a specific aspect of your chart. If you would like to do that, that's on offer as well. And another way to support me is to join my YouTube members. There's extra content on there, and you do get opportunities to have discounts on said readings. So yeah, if you'd like to support me, that's the best way to do it. And if you can't do any of that because you were like me when I was in my early 20s, maybe you're a student and you eat pot noodles and you can't afford it, that's okay. Please watch this video, like, subscribe, comment, watch it all the way through so you can help me with the algorithm, because I really like to get a good payday from Google one day. Okay? Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And let's dive in. Okay, so here's how we're doing it. We do have an official time for Blake Lively. We know her chart is accurate. She's a Leo rising. She's the inner blue ring. She's the blue planets, the inner ring. She is a sun, a moon, a Venus, Mercury, Mars, all she's so neurotic. All in Virgo, playing into the second house. And yeah, she's a Leo rising. And with Taylor, I have her down as a Capricorn rising. Take that with a grain of salt. I don't know what her birth time is. I just use the Capricorn rising because I just don't see her as a Scorpio rising. Scorpio midheaven for sure. Rising? So I've put her as a Capricorn rising. We're not going to take it too seriously here. We're going to see more how Taylor impacts Blake's life, because we have her houses. Like, we can see how Taylor's planets play into her houses. Taylor is a Sagittarius sun. She is a Cancer moon. She has a Venus in Aquarius. She has a Mercury in a stellium in Capricorn. And of course, that Mars in Scorpio is very brutal with Pluto and Lilith. And she's got the two angry wives, Lilith and Juno. With Pluto, so intense, very malefic. All right, so that is their Synastry chart. We'll come back to it at the end. Let's have a look at some of these conjunctions and where they play out in certain houses. Safe secrets, Taylor's Cancer placements in Blake's 12th house. Here's the thing with these two. Taylor's presence opens Blake up in a creative way. I think because she's very earthy, she's very fiery. She doesn't have a stitch of water in her chart. She doesn't have, I don't think there's nothing proper in her 12th house. Like, she's got a Vesta here in her playing out in her 12th house, but she's got no 12th house planets. So to have Taylor's, Jupiter, Moon, and Chiron, potentially part of fortune, all play out in this 12th house, it opens up a portal into spirit. Being with Taylor is could potentially be very good for her spiritually. These are actually really nice placements. A moon is very gentle and nurturing and loving, which a Cancer moon is. Jupiter is a happy planet. Chiron is a healing asteroid. So them all clustered together, playing out in Blake's 12th house, opens up that spiritual portal. I think that Taylor. I think Taylor's quite good for her. And I think Taylor keeps her secrets. They probably talk a lot of their best friends, like, think about how you are with your bestie. Looking like a sea creature on a Friday night, talking about all the boys you'd slept with, like that kind of stuff. So I think, I think that they would have a lot of information on each other, which they would never reveal. This is just sad that this relationship has now a spotlight on it, because it's going to destroy some of the intimacy of this relationship. Now, if this friendship doesn't work out, this will haunt Blake for the rest of her life, because I think it's a bit worse when it's a sexual relationship or a romantic relationship, but either way, it's quite painful. People with placements in your 12th house, they will haunt you. I don't want to say it's for the rest of your life, but sometimes it is. 12th house is what's lost to you, it is a spiritual house. So when someone has a planet in there, they've kind of unlocked Pandora's box. And there could be a song about this. If this friendship doesn't last, there's going to be another album. There's going to be a song about this, potentially. I do think that Taylor felt safe with her. I mean, a moon, Jupiter, Vesta is here. Vesta is sacred protection. It's the goddess of the hearth and the home, which is a very friendly energy. So there's a safe place for Taylor with Blake, as they both thought that anyway. So it's just kind of sad that this has happened, that their friendship is now being exposed of sorts. It's just very painful to have a shining light and the public looking at such a dark house. So yeah, Taylor makes Blake more emotionally intelligent. And also their moon sextile. So Taylor is a Cancer moon. Blake is a Virgo moon. I'm sure Blake is good for her, and in terms of offering her analysis of all her messy emotional situations. Like, Virgo placements have really good ears. They can really offer sound advice, so I'm sure there is that for Taylor. Sextiling moons are quite pleasant, like sexy sextile, right? It's nice. But yeah, it would be sad if this friendship doesn't work out. I mean, it's great for an album. I would really like to hear a song about broken friendship from Taylor, but it is really sad. Next, chosen family. Blake's Virgo stellium in Taylor's 8th house. If this is correct, so take this bit with a grain of salt. Someone who has placements in your 8th house, they're going to be intimate. Like, the slide before shows her moon in her 12th house, an intimate placement, spiritual placement. Placements in the 8th house, that is like a sharing of resources. That's like family. Taylor and Blake are like family. Taylor babysits her children. And 8th house is shared assets, like money, things like that. I think Ryan made a little joke about how Taylor is the most expensive babysitter. Of course, he doesn't pay her, but that's just an example of how these two share a lot of things. They even, in a way, share children. So yeah, it's just a very intimate placement. It's a sisterly placement. I think they spend a lot of money on each other. Because placements that fall into your 8th house of shared resources, like that's a long-term forever investment. Again, another placement indicates that a friendship breakup would be very, very costly. It could actually, because they've worked together on a film, I mean, there's shared money there. They've done business together, which is incredibly dangerous. So if there's a divorce of friendship, there's also going to be a divorcing of assets. There's going to be there could be some legal stuff with this. If this is right, and Taylor does have a Virgo 8th house, that's some trouble. Oh, by the way, this photo was taken when they were in, I think it was in 2013 or 2014, when they're in Sydney. This is a cute photo of them. I really liked it. Anyway. A bad influence. Taylor Scorpio placements in Blake's 4th house. Here's the thing. They are close and they love each other. But Taylor is intelligent and intuitive. She smells a rat. Taylor's controlling within her own life, but she's incredibly influential. Now, whether we have the right time or not for Taylor's chart, her Mars, her Pluto, and the two angry wives, as I like to call them, Lilith and Juno, are in Blake's 4th house of the home and family. When Taylor comes over, people act right. People, like, Mars is a domineering, well, Pluto is here too, but Mars is a personal planet that indicates, like, that masculine, bossy energy, right? It's a masculine planet. It's a malefic. If that's in her 4th house, when Taylor comes over, people better act behaved, including Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan has a sun and moon and some other stuff in Scorpio. I just looked at his chart if you want to have a look at it. It's the previous video to this. He's got a midheaven in Gemini, so that means his 4th house is in Sagittarius. So even Taylor's sun falls into his 4th house. So she's got some very masculine, domineering planets in both Blake's house and 4th house, and Ryan's 4th house. So she's a big part of their lives, but I bet she can be, I don't want to say annoying. That's not the right word. Invasive, even if she doesn't mean to. There's the thing with Scorpio placements. People get angry with them, not necessarily because of what they've done. It's because of their vibe. Because you can't act up around Scorpio placements. You can't be disrespectful. Because they're a weapon. They're poison. They're toxic. And I'm wondering if Taylor gives Blake counsel, if that could be invasive. Maybe she steps over a line that Ryan or Blake have put in the sand. I think Ryan, because Ryan's the domineering partner. But yeah, this looks difficult. Lilith on the 4th house. Oh. If Taylor saw something in their home, I wonder if she said something. Like if she saw something, like an interaction in the family, whether it be with Ryan or the children, I think Taylor would say something. I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor has disciplined their children. Like she's like that strong auntie, But yeah, this looks invasive. Even if she doesn't mean to, she looks invasive. And Blake doesn't have any personal planets here. Blake really likes taking direction. This is all sextiled her Virgo stellium. As long as her relationships are fruitful and pleasant, and that's all she really cares about. She doesn't mind someone taking the lead and dominating, as long as they love her. She really enjoys being around power. She's Persephone. So when she's around Scorpio energy, which is Hades and Persephone, she doesn't mind being dominated as long as she can get some residual power from that interaction. And she gets that with Ryan, and she gets that with Taylor, who have heavy Scorpio influences in their chart. So I actually wonder how the home dynamic is when Auntie Taylor has come over. Because no one disrespects her, even if Taylor, not that I think Taylor would ever be rude, but no one's going to disrespect her. Even when she's giving an opinion or she's like being controversial, like no one's going to disrespect her. And I don't think even Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds is a bit terrified of her, actually. I reckon he is. He wouldn't want to piss her off. A burdened friendship. So Blake's Sagittarius stellium sits on Taylor's Sagittarius sun. Being together is going to draw more attention to Taylor, more criticism, especially if something goes awry. I mean, this is fun. Like someone's sun in your fifth house. The fifth house is the party house. It's also the children house, which makes a lot of sense why Taylor interacts with their children a lot. She even has one of the children featured on her album. She has some of the characters in her songs were named after their children, very heavily involved with Blake and Ryan's children. So yeah, her sun in the fifth house is it's a very friendly placement. I also think that Taylor could be very inspiring to Blake in terms of art, because the fifth house is also art. It's what you make, right? Fifth house is like, look at me, look what I've done. I can tap dance, I can sing, I drew this drawing, I made this artwork. Look at this. So having Taylor sit in this fifth house is very good for Blake's creativity, because she's got Saturn in the fifth, so she's a bit perfectionistic with her art, so much so that she doesn't even produce good art. When you're too perfectionistic, it takes away from what you make, which is the case with the film It Ends With Us. Like, it's just not that good of a film, you know. And it's because Blake was so perfectionistic about it. Now with Uranus on the sun, I mean, it's a planet of chaos. Blake could inadvertently, because these are not personal planets, right? Saturn and Uranus are not personal planets, so this is not what Blake intended. But she can bring some drama to Taylor inadvertently. I think all of this might even square her Virgo placements. Saturn is that criticism, like them being together is going to get criticized. It's a burden on Taylor. I think to a certain extent they both enjoy being famous and being out and about together. Like, they want to be iconic, like, yes. But sometimes the public attention can be very draining, especially when it comes in the form of critique. And that's what Saturn does. That, yeah. If Blake, and this has happened, if Blake produces an artwork and Taylor has somehow contributed or helped her, and that could, if it's not well received, if it's not well reviewed, that's going to burden Taylor. That's not going to be good for her brand. Blake is a burden to Taylor. And that's sad, because I think they genuinely love each other. There's some really good, like, synastry between them. Like, their moons are sextile, their Mars is a sextile, their Mercury's trine, but their suns are squared. A Virgo and a Sagittarius. So it's a bit of a clash of ego that can happen as well. Yeah. Also, Taylor's Mercury, which is in this very powerful Capricorn stellium, plays into Blake's sixth house of everyday work and routine. So I think that Blake, maybe for a while, has really wanted to collaborate with Taylor, because it would bring her, and this probably trines her Virgo. It's in a good aspect to all her Virgo placements, is going to get her acclaim. Like, at least she thinks so. Working with Taylor is going to get her more respect, you know, so that is there. It's probably going to make her money. So having Taylor's genius, this is basically Taylor's genius placement. This is her singer-songwriter talent playing into Blake's sixth house, which I think from memory is empty. We'll have a look at it as we go further down the presentation. Taylor's got a genius that Blake could only dream of. Blake's perfectionistic, but she's not a genius. She's not an artistic genius. And she wants some of that. She wants what Taylor has. I don't think it's necessarily playing out as jealousy. I think she just admires her and wishes she could be more like her. And because she can't, she would love to work with her. Because she's, Blake is very ambitious. She has talents. I think she's a fashionista. I think she's got an eye. I think she's a good eye for fashion. Currently, not really, but certainly in the past, she's served looks. I think she's, in terms of visual, like she can be creative. I just don't think in the context of film or music that she's particularly creative or a genius. Not in that arena. She should have just worked in fashion instead of acting, really. Anyway, with or without you, Taylor will drop her. It might hurt, but she would. There's nothing really that Taylor benefits from with the relationship with Blake. I think she just wants to be with Blake because they feel like they're sisters. They even look like sisters. She just really loves her. I mean, having someone's Venus, because Taylor's Venus is in Aquarius, so that would fall into Blake's 7th house. So that's a very loving placement, actually. Like it's nice. It's just a really nice synastry. She kind of completes her. I think Blake genuinely loves her, and I think despite her trying to, use this friendship to get something or make more money or for whatever, despite all of that, I think Blake genuinely really loves Taylor. So yeah, again, it'd be really sad if this friendship doesn't work out, but Taylor will drop who she needs to drop if they are a burden, and with or without her, Taylor will achieve her destiny. Taylor's like, I'm with you, I'm your friend because I love you, but I don't need you. Taylor doesn't need her. I think Blake is more needy of her than Taylor is. So yeah, if someone's Venus is in the same sign as your 7th house, if their Venus falls into your 7th house, you're gonna love them, but they can also become your open enemy. That's something, because the 7th house is peaceful partnership. It's like, oh my God, we're soulmates. We're partners in crime. But that can turn into an open enemy. This situation could be an open enemy. Also, Pluto's just swung into here, so that's a bit painful. And actually, their relationship has been pretty much as long as a Pluto transit. And now Pluto's transiting through another sign that's going over relationship placements for both of them. Riding on coattails, Blake's North Node conjunct... sorry, that was a mistake. Blake's North Node conjunct Taylor's Pallas Athena. My apologies. Look at that. That is... genius right there. That's Pallas Athena. That's strategy. And she's actually the daughter of Jupiter, which is right there. It's not a significant conjunction, but I mean, what's going to help her get to her North Node? The North Node in Aries is about victory and glory, and Jupiter is here, it's abundance. Certainly having Taylor's creative input is very helpful to this. They're in an out of sign conjunction. Taylor's Pallas Athena is in Pisces, but they're still in a conjunction. So another placement that indicates that Blake would really love to work with Taylor. Like, get some of that. She wants some of that shine to glow, to be ricochet off her a little bit, to be reflected back into the world a little bit. She wants some of that genius. I hope that made sense. She wants some of Taylor's light to reflect off her a little bit. That's what that means. Yeah. It's so awkwardly placed. It was really hard about this North Node, and I have known Virgos, 87 Virgos. There was a recent 87 Virgo who actually was born around the same time as Blake Lively. One of my former friends, very close childhood friend, I had to drop her because as soon as that South Node entered Virgo, she wanted back in with this friendship after treating me like shit, after disrespecting me. She has a North Node in Aries, and I could have been very helpful to her, and I really was helpful to her. Didn't really appreciate it. Built up a lot of resentment, and our friendship ended because I was just like, nah, I'm not taking this no more. The Virgos are about to go through a spiritual evolution that comes from loss. The South Node is what you have to release. When the South Node moves through your placements, you're letting something go. The Virgos are losing control, and they hate losing control because they're control freaks. So this transit for the next 18 months is going to be very interesting. Blake's North Node is painful because her South Node in Libra is very close to those Virgo placements. She's accustomed to be in that Libra Virgo energy where I get along with people and everybody loves me, ha 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 ha, socializing. So, and when your North Node is in Aries, it's lonely out there. It's very high achieving. You can climb at the top of the mountain, but at what cost? It's not a pleasant North Node. It's not easy to have, as a Virgo stellium, have a North Node in Aries with Jupiter. You have to go to war, and you don't want to go to war, and you might lose a lot. You're going to learn a lot, but it is very, very painful for Blake. Her nodal return just ended. Literally, as her nodal return ended, she filed all these lawsuits. That might be very costly for her. Anyway. Yeah, the Virgos, you're having a hard time. Don't treat people like shit, and maybe you won't get dumped as friends, okay? It's just sad because I love Virgos. I look up to them, but a lot of the time they look down on me. Bad idea. Bad idea. So this is their full chart again, their Synastry chart. Yeah, Mercury trines. Like they communicate well. I think Taylor brings out a lot of I think she makes Blake more thoughtful. I think she adds depth to her life. Because it's a bit of a superficial rich girl kind of vibe. And I think she's got a lot of anxiety and they're both of course, I think when you're an artist or in media or you're a famous person, I think that kind of being in that energy breeds anxiety and insecurity. So I just think that I think with Blake, she just doesn't have a lot of depth. She just doesn't. I think she's got a lot of anxiety. I think she cares about appearances. I think she cares about money. I think she cares about status a lot. I think that's what this film, It Ends With Us, was about, was her trying to get her career back on track after having so many babies. She's someone who's always of service. She's always trying to, she's under the thumb of her husband. And I don't think her husband is allowing her to become, more interesting, more enriched, more Taylor gives her that. Taylor is someone who wants her friends to be interesting, thoughtful, deep people. So I think Taylor's really, really good for Blake. So anyway, I hope I haven't been too harsh. I mean, I like Blake Lively. I just think she's got a lot of lessons to learn. I think this nodal, the South Node moving through her placements, is going to give her depth. That's for sure. It's going to give her depth. It's going to make her understand what it's like to lose because she's never lost anything before. Yeah. And usually in nodal opposition, 2016 when she did that horrid interview with Kirsty Fla, that was her nodal opposition, 2016. And because that North Node was moving through Libra, moving through Virgo, she was winning. She was getting all these projects. It was a really nice trend of her. Her North Node, her nodal return in Aries was painful. And the North Node through Pisces will also continue to be painful, especially with Saturn moving through her 8th house. She may lose a lot of money. Her and Ryan. Ryan is not happy with her either. Anyway, Do I think these guys will stay friends? I mean, they could. I think, you know, when you stay friends with someone, but it's not the same anymore, you distance yourself, even though you don't cut them off, you're distant. I think it might be like that. I think Taylor might be distant with her for a while. So, and it happens in friendships. Anyway, that was my reading. I hope all of that made sense. And yeah, let me know, what do you think of their friendship in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the Zoom room. I'll see you in the MP3 readings. Bye.